Hi guys, welcome to the Fight Edge channel. Last year there was a lot of fights worthy of attention, but the main thing is that many of them have arranged an excellent springboard for the coming year. In 2022, another absolute world champion from Russia, may appear in the boxing world and pass the Russian final. A unification fight for 3 world titles at once. Will it help to defeat Usyk? Joshua trains with the cruiserweight champion. Former world heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua is preparing for a rematch with Alexander Usyk. In Dubai, the Briton decided to train with cruiserweight champion Lawrence Okoli, the division in which the Ukrainian was previously king. Let's see how much this will help AJ in the upcoming fight. Joe Joyce's promoter told when the leader of the WBO rating in the weight of Usyk will return to the ring. The head of Queensberry Promotions Frank Warren told when heavyweight Joe Joyce will be able to hold the next fight. I hope that he will return at the end of April-May. Joyce is number 1 in the WBO rankings. The organization is not doing anything in the heavyweight division because of the fight that is about to take place, the duel of Usyk and Joshua. Recall that the first number of the WBO rating was supposed to fight in February, but was injured during preparation. Josh Taylor's coach Ben Davison, in an interview with pro boxing fans, spoke about a possible fight for the absolute Alexander Usyk with Tyson Fury, and also summed up the results of the Ukrainian's first fight with Anthony Joshua. It will be interesting to see how Tyson approaches the fight with Usyk. I think he is going to try to push Alexander, but you should be smart about pushing Usyk, otherwise he will use it against you. So it will be interesting to take a look at Fury's plan for this fight. It's incredibly versatile. I can't say that Usyk in heavyweight surprised me. Yes, he had success in the fight with Joshua, but I think Anthony chose the wrong plan for the fight. I thought that AJ would draw conclusions and turn the course of the fight, but Joshua didn't adjust. Alexander showed what I expected from him. Recall that Davison claims to be the best coach according to the WBA. Friends, before starting to watch this video, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. If you really enjoy the content, then please subscribe to my channel and keep watching the videos. If you are subscribed, then you receive notifications about the release of new videos. You do not even have to look for anything personally. I really want to get 10,000 subscribers on my channel. I'm trying very hard absolutely every day and I need your support. Your likes, comments, reposts to social networks. Thanks to everyone who subscribes to my channel. You are my support. Thank you so much. The world heavyweight champion in the UFC Mixed Martial Arts League, Francis Ngannou, once again started talking about the fact that in the future he would like to try himself as a boxer. The fighter, famous for his strong punch, believes that he could create competition for recognized top heavyweights like Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. It will happen. Ngannou promised to make his professional debut if or when we conclude a new agreement with the UFC, then a boxing clause will be included in it. I can't imagine ending my career without trying myself in this discipline. I would like to test myself in fights against Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder at this level, Francis Ngannou said. Former heavyweight world champion Russian Grigory Drozd gave an interview where he told why the united heavyweight champion from Ukraine Alexander Usyk is the best boxer of 2022. Grigory also compared Usyk and ex-champion in 3 categories Vasily Lomachenko with former heavyweight hegemon Vladimir Klitschko. In addition, the expert gave his forecast for the rematch of Usyk and former British champion Anthony Joshua, and compared the Briton with ex-champion from the United States, Deontay Wilder. Why is Usyk better than everyone else this year? Few people bet on Usyk. I also thought he would lose. Huge Joshua with large dimensions. I don't think he will try to box with him and try to be like a classic boxer. It was a big mistake. Therefore, Sasha Usyk made a big sensation for many. So he turned over the heavyweight. I moved from the cruiser to the top and there I won. In fact, from the top. Joshua was the #1 boxer until some time. I think that in terms of attention, in terms of importance, Usyk is more worthy of the title of Boxer of the Year. Vasily Lomachenko and Alexander Usyk are most talented great guys. But in order to match the legacy of Vladimir Klitschko, we still need to work and work a lot. I think they have approximately passed this way by a third. Vladimir Klitschko is the #1 heavyweight legend, internationally recognized. Usyk is a great fellow. Lomachenko is also, but so far they cannot be placed side by side. Now I consider him a confident favorite. Joshua may be different. It can change. To do this, you need a good job, namely homework, a cool plan for a duel and not one, and you really need to be different. Being a boxer against Alexander Usyk, it's crazy. It's easy to take and give away all the titles. Say, okay, let me just stand here and that's it. So we need a different boxing, a different manner, a different approach. Can it change? We will see. For some reason, something tells me that Usyk can be even more convincing in rematch. Can you imagine Anthony Joshua, who will come out as Deontay Wilder, ready to put everything on the line, literally his whole life for one duel? I think that mentionally they are completely different boxers. Deontay Wilder is like kryptonite, like a rock. You can knock him out, but you can't break his will. We've seen it. This is just a crazy person with some crazy hard character. Crazy just. It seems to me that Joshua has a slightly different core. He is softer inside. He is such a guy, intelligent, well-mannered, more like an aristocrat. Therefore, I don't think he can be like Deontay Wilder in mentality, Grigory Drost said in an interview. Usyk Fury, probably the main confrontation that can only be imagined at the moment in boxing. And it's quite real. Both Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury had titles fights in 2021. The Ukrainian became the world champion in 3 versions at once: WBA, WBO, IBF. The Briton retained the title of WBC world champion in the heavyweight category. Of course, a unification fight against itself. The main thing is that the boxers themselves understand this. At one of the boxing evenings, Usyk meets Fury in the ringside, where the fighters greeted each other warmly, but looked with a certain squint, clearly seeing a future opponent in front of him. Everything depends on the organization of the fight. It is not yet clear who will take up the case, but one thing is for sure, it will pay for itself several times. Not only in this fight for the title of absolute world champion, but also in the royal weight. You can't think of a better scenario. The year 2022 is simply glad to give boxing fans such an action. Usyk-Joshua rematch. Only Anthony Joshua can move the unification fight between Usyk and Fury. The Briton was trampled into his native land when he lost with a bang to Alexander at the Tottenham Football Arena, in front of their fans, in front of their judges. Clean. For sure, Joshua's promoter has an ace up his sleeve in the form of a mandatory match, closing the event of Anthony's defeat. Joshua definitely didn't accept the fact that the Ukrainian took away his titles. Joshua will take revenge, and for sure, he will want to do it already in 2022. Perhaps now the conditions of the battle will be dictated by Usyk. As a favorite and champion, he can do it, but all these are nuances. The main thing is that the fight will definitely take place. which means Tyson Fury will have to wait a little longer. Usyk has a mandatory challenger with whom no one wants to fight. 42-year-old heavyweight Luis Ortiz in the 6th round prematurely stopped American Charles Martin. At stake was the title of the official contender for the IBF World Champion belt. Thus, Ortiz became a mandatory contender for Ukrainian Alexander Usyk, who owns the IBF belt. Ortiz had previously fought twice for the world title, but was knocked out both times by Deontay Wilder. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel.